Welcome into a playoff episode of Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. It's a big game this week, as it always is once it gets to playoff time. Coach Travis Hill is sitting across from me. I'm Dylan Rivera. Coach, it's Mustang on the schedule this week, but before we get into all of that, I want to go back. It's a couple of weeks ago now since you had the bye week in the first round of playoffs. You're taking on Westmoore in the last regular season game, a game that really was easy to overlook if you didn't take your P's and Q's seriously. So, but my first question is always just your takeaways from the win.
I liked the way our kids responded, not being disrespectful, but a team that was had not won a football game coming in game 10. We'd kind of taken care of our business. We did not feel like as a coaching staff or as a football team, and you should never feel this way, but like there should be any relaxed mode to it. Not to be disrespectful to them, but we had to go out and play hard. We weren't going to get another game until 2 weeks. We don't want to be knocking that much rust off. We're going to have to knock some of it off anyway. So I was very, very happy with the way our kids, coaches, pushed through that and went out and had a convincing win and did what they were supposed to, Dylan, in every aspect of the game.
Do you feel like you strengthened your rotation last Friday, or I guess it would have been last Friday night, with a lot of guys that aren't in the main rotation that got into the game?
Yeah, any time that you can get kids more experience, whether it be young kids or even some of your older kids in this case, it makes you a stronger football team. So when able to do that or have the opportunity to do that was very, very positive and a positive reflection with attitudes and just the overall makeup of the football team right now is pretty positive.
Anybody that stuck out to you from those guys that got in the game?
Well, yeah, we know we have some young kids. Samaj Jones, is a very special athlete that sitting behind some other good ones, but a sophomore that's came in, he is a kid that sticks out. Carson Brown, so we're going from a sophomore, like I said, getting the experience for the future, to a senior who took advantage of every snap. He got our player of the game from the concept of just his efforts when he got in. So you can see it from both perspectives, kids that grew up and are going to help us in the future and kids that were on their way out that still got to shine in the light at that point in time.
Well, then you go into this past week of having the bye week, having the chance to rest and relax a little bit, but also do some more work in the coaches' offices, I'm sure. So just talk to me about this week and what you guys have been up to.
Well, you don't play you play a little bit of a guessing game about who you're going to play. Obviously, you got Norman North and Mustang as we go into that bye week have to play to see who we play as far as being the winner. So, but we do take bits and pieces, especially pieces that are very similar from both programs, and put them to work during the bye week, and then we work fundamentals. So that's huge. So in order to do that and have the opportunity to do that and under control, where usually Coach Hill is usually a little bit more physical during bye weeks. I just figured at this level, have the opportunity to rest the body a little bit was advantageous. So we did have some good on good, a lot of ones-on-ones, but it was very, very quick whistled. So kids tried to stay up off the ground and all that. So it was very advantageous for us. It's like everything else, Dylan. We can sit here and I'd say, hey, it was a great job, and we prepared the very best we could during bye week. Don't know that results will come this Friday as we are now preparing and getting ready for Mustang.
Is there anything that you guys may have put into the game plan this past week or anything you guys worked on that maybe we haven't seen yet from the Tigers so far this season?
Yeah, there's always little wrinkles. I'm sure the Mustang will have their little wrinkles too. Nothing major. I don't think you're going to go out there and identify it and say, hey, there's a whole brand new set or we're very similar. We found our groove. We know what we do well. We wouldn't be very smart to move on and try to be a different type of football team than what we are right now. But we have our wrinkles and our little gadgets that we put in to make sure that we keep them on their toes and things that we see as a staff that we think we can take advantage of.
Well, I'm excited to see how it plays out this coming Friday night. But before we get there, we're going to keep breaking down the Westmoore matchup. We're going to talk offense coming up next on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib.
All in all, there's not a better place to work.
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
It's very fulfilling.
The work that we do is hard. The work that we do changes people's lives.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job. It's a calling.
It's time to update your kitchen, just for you. Kitchen Tune-Up will make your kitchen look and feel transformed. Let's create a kitchen that inspires and uplifts you. Kitchen Tune-Up. Update, upgrade, uplift.
looking for some iced caffeine, left you in the cold. No one knows why brown water costs as much as liquid gold. Told him your name was Brian, why does this cup say Nicole? But then you found paradise in your cup at the Quick Trip. No regrets to start your day.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Just about set to break down the offense. Coach Travis Hill here joining me on Inside Tiger Football. First thing I got to go to is the running back position. We had talked about previously that Grayson Betts was going to come in and be sort of the workhorse starter, but he only ended up getting 5 carries. Score got a little bit one-sided, so you can rest him a little bit, prepare him for playoff action as well. Marcus Sanders comes in, does a nice job. Sanders finishes the game. What did you see out of him against Westmoore?
Again, there's that fun part of that young kid getting an opportunity. Marcus, up until about 4 weeks ago, a little guesstimation there, didn't have a clue what a running back does. But when we had some issues there as far as some depth and making sure we're ready to go, including JV depth, we moved Marcus in that position, and we're watching a young man I think may have found a little bit of a niche there. He's always a good little footman. Reason why he was chosen. Good little football player for us at corner. Did some good things, but he slipped in there and did a great job. Fulfilled the obligation that was done that night, and has probably found himself an opportunity for not only now, but for the future, as far as probably some of the things we'll be looking at doing with Marcus.
Yeah, good to hear. Jeremiah Satimba does a nice job spreading the ball around. Only one guy had more than one catch against Westmoore, and that was Peyton Lang. And good to see Lang have a good game this late in the year. He started off red hot in those first couple of games, and things kind of got quiet in the middle of the season, and now late in the season he's starting to pick it back up. What have you seen from him, just the fluctuation throughout the year?
Yeah, in each week you pick your poison. Obviously, if he's going to do well early, teams are going to see that, so they're going to approach our particular game differently and how they defend him, defend our offense in general. But it's good to see him back in the gig as far as making big plays, because it's real simple. We're very talented out wide. Jeremiah is very, very intelligent about how he picks and chooses and what he does via his reads and his expectations. To have that guy come back in, it not only will open us up offensively and him, but will open other people up too. So to have that come through at that point in time, it's going to help us a lot.
Now, if we want to have an honest show, we can't just talk about the positives. We've got to talk about the negatives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pick 6 thrown by Jeremiah Satimba. Peyton Lang also fumbles the football. So taking care of the football, something that came up against Westmoore here in this week. How do you try to shore that up before this week's kickoff?
I mean, you just continue to make that part of your practice schedule as far as ball protection, ball security, and it's just something we work on diligently. I think probably we said perfectly honestly. I don't know how honest I am with this answer because I really don't know. But I'm not too sure Jeremiah didn't try to force it to another senior. I'm just, on senior night, last ball game, that cost him his problem. Also, the player that stepped in and took it is by far Westmoore's best football player too. So, there's a little bit of that in there. I don't know if that's something Jeremiah would have done in any other game. Don't know that, but just speculating a little bit. And, it's something else that we've had. Big catch, great run. You got to protect the ball after the catch too, though. So we got to continue to do that. We cannot have one turnover, much less 2 in a particular football game going into the playoffs, because that will get you beat.
It's a big win over Westmoore, so we're going to keep these segments a little bit shorter as we prepare for the Mustang game. So we're going to go to the defense just after this commercial break it all down right here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Hey Tigers, I'm City Manager Michael Spurgeon. The city is preparing for the next general obligation bond election in April of 2026. Just like the improvements to Albany Street in front of the high school, bonds help pay for upgrades to public infrastructure like streets and intersections, public safety services, parks improvements, and more here in our great community. To find out more about the bond process, visit the city website. Thank you for helping us build our future. Broken Arrow, enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Time to talk defense. Dylan Rivera with head coach Travis Hill. The defense, one thing that jumped out off the page for me was 10 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
10 tackles for loss is always going to be impressive, a stat no matter what. How were you able to control the line of scrimmage against the Jaguars?
Well, like I said, first of all, they very young football team at Westmoore versus a team that has become somewhat of a veteran football team. I mean, we've gone through the rigors and found a way to be 8-2. So you just kind of had two ends of the spectrum there, okay? You know, an aggressive, physical team that was riding momentum and positive versus a team that's still trying to figure out how to play football. Mm-hmm. So that has a lot to do with it. But when they decided to keep throwing the football around, Dylan, that's disaster sometimes, okay? And that's what they do, and that's what they're very capable of doing. So for them to continue to do that allows us to tee off some and put them in situations that allows us to be very successful. So 10 tackles for loss looks good, is good, and what should have been done.
Final tally goes up as 129 yards rushing for Westmoore, but 188-yard rushing touchdown late in the game.
Yep.
What did you see on that play? Because that ends up taking up most of their rushing yards right there.
It's just part of it whenever you start playing kids throughout the process and you miss and match. Sometimes the fits, because like I said, you can put our regular defense out there, and it's not only that we have great players behind them at times, but that they mesh together. They understand. So I know exactly as a linebacker what to expect from Brohl as the defensive end. I get another guy in there, I take the exact same angle. Oh, he does it differently. You know, just things like that happen. So kudos to them. They kept fighting, and you know that squashed statistically looking good. I think that you know, and you know me, and you know our staff well enough. We look at stats, but only to better ourselves. Mm-hmm. W is the only stat that matters, and so I felt like we played some really good defense and did some really good things throughout the process.
Samaj Stanford has another really good game. He gets 2 interceptions, 1 pick six, also has a punt return TD. One thing that I want to point out on that punt return TD is if you haven't seen the replay at home, watch Noah Gillespie on that play. He laid an absolutely phenomenal block. But, man, we talk about it all the time, and I don't want to ask the same question all the time, but just the impact that he has on this team. Maybe let's go off the field a little bit, too, because I feel like he has a big impact in the locker room.
He does, and you know, Samaj, Coach, go be. This is from me to him. Go be Samaj, and just whenever I got you, Coach, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's just very confident, but he's not cocky. He understands how to motivate kids. Sometimes can be a little overbearing because he's demanding. Very similar to the guy you're talking to right here that's talking. But he's just exactly what you want. He is a leader. He's a great football player, but the mentality is what makes him special. And I want to point out, too, Noah Gillespie. It's a great block, okay? And so for the average eye, you guys aren't an average eye. You guys watch this is what you kind of do. But people don't, it's like a receiver blocking. That stuff's more important and doesn't make big plays always just because a kid can run fast and run by somebody. He has to have the right block, the right people doing the right thing. So, again, just incentive from me to our team. Have an opportunity to be on the stage right now. Hey, every little thing counts, including Noah Gillespie's block, because that did. It was a great block. Samaj could have made him miss him, maybe, but he didn't have to worry about it. He just walked on in after that block. So Samaj Stanford, special football player. Noah Gillespie, way to compete and do things right.
Well, we named Samaj Stanford our difference maker of the game post-game last week, and he got to catch up with Madison Dildine this week.
I'm Madison Dildine, joined by junior Samaj Stanford, this week's difference maker of the game. Samaj, talk to me about something that you're proud of from your performance against Westmoore.
I have to say my play recognition on the field. I feel like that led to my 2 picks, just knowing what the offense is going to do based off their formation.
We're heading into the playoffs this week, and we've got Mustang on deck. What's something Tiger fans can expect out of that matchup?
A great game. Us as a DB core really locking in. We know they have a great quarterback, great receivers, so our DB core really locking in.
That was Junior Samaj Stanford, your difference maker of the game. Dylan?
Thank you, Madison. All eyes, of course, on the Mustang game, so we're looking forward to that one. We're going to preview that matchup next here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib.
Get your taste buds ready, because we're bringing all the drip and none of the drama with our new sauced and tossed Tender Bites. They're juicy, crispy, and sauced like a boss. Bite into your new obsession. Only at Slim Chickens.
Hey Tigers, get the only card that donates to Broken Arrow Public Schools every time you use it. TTCU Federal Credit Union has donated more than $360,000 so far. Support the Tigers with your card today.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Big-time matchup, Broken Arrow and Mustang. Saw this one in the early going of the season, Coach. It was a little bit of a different matchup then than it is now. I want to ask you first, just what do you remember from Week 3, 21-14 win over the Broncos?
Yep, very physical football game. A team that came in without their quarterback, which is obviously a highly touted kid going to Florida State, it looks like. So the physicality that they brought was impressive. It was a hard-fought football game. We're looking forward to that and expecting nothing but a dogfight from Mustang.
Quarterback aside, what do you see different from them from that stage of the season, those first few weeks, to now where they're at now?
Well, I think, like I said, when we break them down and you start really observing they found what they do and what they do really well. Okay, so both sides of the football. You can see, hey, man, they're not changing a lot. And kind of talked about that earlier about adjusting during the bye week and like that. Mm-hmm. Good teams don't change a lot, okay? Mm-hmm. So you got to put them in the good team category, man, because they're not changing a lot. They're doing what they're doing. They do it really well. And probably at times not to really care if you know what's going on or not, because we're better. And so they do a great job. And those are the things I remember about Game 3. In a very tight, highly contested game, 21-14 win on behalf of RBAF. So it's hard to beat anybody once, much less twice. Here they come, back to the same place. So let's go tee it up and see what happens.
Just put that quarterback aside, but let's bring him back into the conversation.
Yep.
Obviously, he's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
How much does he affect the offense being out there on the field?
Well, what he does now is in that game, they still threw the ball with a little success because they have some highly skilled kids. Mm-hmm. But obviously, I'm not being mean to their number 2 quarterback, but he's number 2 for a reason, okay? And he's not going to Florida State where this kid is. Mm-hmm. This kid can get the ball in arenas and areas that are really tight fits, and he's got a strong arm, and that makes him really dangerous. So you can even defend him well, okay? Mm-hmm. Put a good athlete out there with a quarterback that can put the ball in certain positions and stretch you. So, you got a 60 to 70-yard arm there. So you got to defend all that when that opportunity is there. So it causes a lot of problems, a lot of grief. So I think we got a decent game plan put together to say how we can challenge that and see if we can come out on top.
How do you prepare for a guy like that in practice with your defensive back room? I mean, you guys have a lot of talent. I know you guys have players that know what they're doing, and they're very capable of slowing down Mustang's offense, but taking an approach to a different quarterback.
Yeah, just the idea of identifying routes and just working that area, trying to give them a few looks that really were kind of doing the same stuff, but just giving you a different way to look at it. Mm-hmm. Trying to confuse them on how we're covering them up. So, our kids are prepared for that. In every coverage, just like in every play or anything you do, there'll be some real strengths and there'll be a weakness. Do they find the weakness, or do we be able to hide that well enough? All the above. So our kids have worked diligently. We know that. We are a talented arena in that area, thank goodness. So we feel like we can give them a lot of multiple looks and see if that can cause some confusion. And I'm going to say it again. That scares you. There's no doubt about it. But what's going to scare you worse if they can turn around and hand the football off and have success there going along with it. That's when we're in trouble.
They did end up breaking off like a 20-yard run for a touchdown against Broken Arrow earlier this season, and the other touchdown was a defensive touchdown, if I remember right. So
correct.
That's how they got to their 14 points. But it shows that they have the capability to run the football if you guys aren't making sure you're taking care of your assignments.
Absolutely, and that's, like I said, I've told you that's kind of what they've hung their hat on is this, you like I said, you can almost look at them and say they're a little boring. But they're going to run power, and they're going to run counter, and they're going to do it really, really well. And they're going to show that every single snap because that's off their play action stuff too, and whether it be an RPO or just basically pass protection in that form fashion. So they do a good job, good scheme, good understanding of what they can and can't do, causes a lot of problems. But we've got to be on our toes and understand and make a difference.
Coach Blankenship and his offensive staff do a nice job of dressing things up and making it look, like ball's going one way, going the other way. So have you guys been taking care of the eye candy part of things and making sure that the eyes are disciplined?
We have, and that's part of it. They haven't shown as much of that as a lot of teams, to be honest with you, here lately, but they have it in the repertoire. And with that great skill kid, it doesn't take a whole lot to flash somebody here or show somebody there in order to decoy, for lack of a better word, and get you just that one eye candy away from making a big play. And so they do cause a lot of grief on that. And I guess, I don't think about it a whole lot, but the Blankenship name and offense kind of goes hand in hand. I know this is Lee on the other side of the state. This is not the Blankenships on this side, but they've all been, talented in the idea and how they go about their business as far as offensive people. And they put out a good schematic scheme that they do. And then you throw in good players, which all Blankenships would tell you, and Coach Hill would tell you, makes you even that much better. So they definitely got some talent over there. Good scheme, be hard to deal with.
A lot of talent, and I think one place that you have to look for, we've talked about the quarterback, but the cornerback on the defensive side of the football, Osborne Jr., really talented player, somebody that is really going to cause some problems on the defensive side of the ball for, I guess, your offense. And so how have you guys been preparing for such a rangy, long, talented cornerback?
It's hard. Be honest with you, smart thing to do is don't throw his way very often, okay? That's always easier said than done, okay? And they use that to their advantage too. They can man him up and say, hey, everybody else take care of all the rest of business too. So the young man also plays on offense, very talented, sets himself apart. Again, when we talk about our Samaj Stanford, I never want to give this kid, due the fact of his talent levels, physical skills are incredible. He's also 6'3", 6'4", and a 205-pound kid, so he is long and rangy to go along with extremely fast, which makes him strong too. So, no, he causes a lot of problem to go along with some of the other kids.
I think anybody that's a casual fan out there from Oklahoma high school sports is going to want to tune into this just for that star matchup between Osborne Jr. and Stanford. Those two guys, real playmakers, are going to be playing at the University of, as you like to say.
I'll go this far. I would. Now this is kind of off the set a little bit, but I'd like to go to another state and find two junior DBs that have any better ability than the two we have right here in the state of Oklahoma, and those two. And we have several other ones, so I'm not being disrespectful to some of these other young people because we have some really good ones. And I don't know names, but 5 over at Jinx, really good football player that plays in the secondary. So anyway, but those two kids set themselves apart, no doubt.
Yeah. Now, as far as the rest of their defense, we're looking at the linebacking core. They're pretty strong as well. I remember them being able to wreak some havoc defensively, and they can cause some problems. And I know you guys have been able to establish the run over the last however many games, and that's really kind of been your bread and butter. Is that something that you feel like you can stick to and attack?
I told you, I don't think we're going to be sitting here making up big stories that they do what they do, and we're going to do what we do, and that's going to be run the football. And hopefully Jeremiah goes 13 for 17, 15 for 18, and if those are the things we do and we don't turn the football over, we'll be very successful there. They do a great job with their schematic. There's a new defensive guy that Lee has brought in, and they believe in the nickel concepts, but again, you have to have the players to fit that. So number 3, and I'm going to be not trying to be disrespectful with names. Again, I just know that's number 3. He's real obvious. He plays in the middle of their defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's their version of Samaje Stanford. I mean, he is all over the place. He's a run stopper. You throw the football, don't throw it in the middle of the field because he'll find a way to take advantage of that. So they got some good football players to go along with a scheme that's a little different, and that's what makes them a little bit successful defensively.
One thing that you're going to have to make sure you're doing this week, and I know you said this to me earlier off camera, is making sure you guys control the line of scrimmage. That's always an important part of any football game, but specifically in this one, you think that's a point where you guys will have to really make sure you're taking care of things.
Yeah, I really do. I mentioned skilled kids, and that's kind of been the blunt of our conversation is those kids. So I think there's a little bit of a wash both ways there. I mean, both of us have some great skill difference makers in that area. Who's going to win that in the trenches? I think week in and week out, when you look at big-time football and you look at playoff football, whether that be at the collegiate level or if you get into the NFL, whoever wins the line of scrimmage, as long as you don't turn the football over, has a really good chance to win the football game. So we've got to get after it in that area. We've been pretty successful in that area most of the time throughout the year. We got to do it again.
How have you seen the kids this week, the players, change their mentality over into a playoff mode? Because I feel like coming off of a game against Westmoore, it's probably a lot of fun. You guys are having a great time. Everybody's getting numbers and getting in the game, and then you have to turn it off and go into playoff mode. Have you seen that change for the guys?
You think you have. Now, Dylan, like I said, people are people. You want to put it off on the kids a little bit. We'll find out Friday night. When 7 o'clock when that ball is kicked off, what frame of mind are you in? We've done everything we can, and feel like our kids have responded well. I think I can see it in the intensity like that. The thing that worries me, I don't want to say scares me, I don't use the word scared, but worries me is, we've been off for a week, and you can take advantage of that, and those can be good things, but yet it also takes you just a little while to get back in the speed of the game. So, and the speed of the game is going to be really fast. And so that's the only concerns we have. But outside of that, I do think our kids understand playoff football. They've been prompted on that, prepped on that, and I think they will respond.
My final question to you is just, Coach Hill, I know you live for big games, so how excited are you to get this game going?
Oh, I'm extremely excited. This is what's fun. This is what you want to get to. Like I said, the process is wonderful, okay? But to get to the end of the process where you finally say, we call it 3 seasons. We call it a non-district schedule, your district schedule, and then the playoffs, okay? The ultimate goal is the playoffs, and the ultimate goal is to win the gold ball, okay? You can sit there and all that. So we were 8-2, great year and all that other stuff. It ain't going to, I hate to tell you this, but it ain't going to mean a whole lot unless we win a gold ball. I'm just being honest. That's the expectations when you get in big programs. It's good. You can't win gold balls unless you get better every year, okay? So we got better. That's great. And we're on the right track. I really believe that. But we got a long ways to go now, and this is the time we get to make the next step. Dylan, think about it. We can't make it unless we get here and get in a big ball game. And I think when you look at all the quarterfinal games, ours is probably the biggest in 6A1 because of the matchup. And we want to get to the Final Four. Let's go. And so very excited about that on Friday. Look forward to it. But I also look forward to about 11 p.m., and hopefully, like I said, sitting in that garage and enjoying the thoughts and the processes of watching our kids win a football game.
I think I agree with you. This will be the game of the week across the states. You want to make sure you have your eyeballs on this one, whether that be through ArrowVision, which we will have the broadcast for you, pregame show at 6:30, or whether you're able to make it out to the game. I know we want to have a big home crowd here and a big home field advantage. Playoff game at our house. That's a good opportunity for Broken Arrow to come out, show what they're all about. So we'll take advantage of that for sure.
Absolutely. They challenged their fans, and we challenged ours a little earlier. Let's go. Let's make this a great event in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Kickoff 7 p.m. Pregame show on ArrowVision at 6:30. If you can't make it out, Coach Hill, thank you for joining me here, and thank you for tuning in. We will see you sometime soon. Hopefully, we'll find out.